right, so this is a suggestion via Patreon. The name of the video is, are Crocodilians OP? Guys, yes. God, guys.
This video was
Absolutely.
made in partnership with CuriosityStream.
I think so, at least. Wait, hold on. I think so, at least. Right. That bite and that death roll. Oh. Right.
There are several factors you can
Where's he falling? Where are they falling? S tier. Yep.
look at to determine where a build belongs on the tier list. Do they have any uniquely overpowered abilities? Are they responsible for major declines in the player bases of other factions? Do they have good matchups against other top tiers? These are all important, but another good indicator is how long a build's core strategies and stats have stood the test of time. If a build has managed
and that's why they're OP.
to succeed across multiple balance patches and new game expansions, that's a great indication that it dominates a highly stable niche in the meta. For example, dragonflies have been one of the top builds patrolling the airspace above swamps and lakes since the Carboniferous expansion. By the same token, sharks have been the dominant marine force since before the terrestrial servers were even added to the game. And while not quite as old as either of these factions, Crocodilians have also had a dominant hold on the same niche since even before the dinosaurs, having survived several of the harshest updates the game has ever seen. Despite this, I don't think any players are all that surprised at the Crocodilians' extensive domination record.
No,
I mean, this is a build which combines down...
Let's look at the stats, guys. All right. Decent intelligence power. I definitely expected that. Max, guys. All right. That is a little ridiculous, to be honest. Not much HP, though. So they're not just like broken. They're not broken, but we understand why they've, gone through all the patches, guys. Absolutely. The devs knew what they were doing when they put them into the meta, guys. Right? Absolutely. Stealth. Oh, I have some stories to tell you there, guys. Let's get really quickly. So a couple of months ago, I was in on assignment in Charleston, South Carolina, at the Magnolia Plantation. And what's interesting about this location is that they actually have alligators everywhere. Be careful of the bushes, guys. Stealth, be careful of those bushes. And definitely do not get too close to any of the water areas either. Stay far away because they are underneath the water. They will come and get you, bro. Right? To the point where I got close, for the most part, maybe 2 or 3 feet from the water's edge. And an alligator just instantly puts its head up and just looks at me. All right? I understand it is extremely fast. It can catch me. So what I did was I backed away slowly. And this was not the only instance within the 2 hours I was on the Magnolia Plantation in Charleston, South Carolina. Guys, they're everywhere. I saw maybe 6 that day, just randomly. Like, people are walking around like they're not here. Pay attention. They're everywhere. My second instance was another couple of months ago again. Maybe 3 months ago, I was in Charleston. Then I think 1.5 months, I was in Cape Canaveral at NASA, right? And again, another place that oddly had a ridiculous amount of alligators everywhere. So again, stealthiness is a real thing with these animals. I would never mess with them. I understand the power. I feel I have my hand in the alligator's jaw, guys. Quickly, like, look for a second. This is a crazy animal to mess with. I understand this is like a small one, right? But feeling the teeth make me never want to have anything to do with this species. Like, literally never. I think an animal this small, right? Based off of like all of the muscles and everything behind it, guys, like that makes that, I guess, controls this ridiculously crazy jaw, right? Bro, your hand is gone from something this small. So now imagine an absolutely gigantic one that weighs thousands of pounds. You have no chance. We have no chance. All right. The last thing we want this animal to do is evolve based off of the stats. Like, I'm looking at the stats. I don't want anything to do with this animal. I think if it had a little bit more intelligence and more HP and more defense, 10% more of all of that, we would have a problem on this planet, guys. Let's get it.
Alright, busted stats, with arguably the most effective strategy in the game, resource camping. So today I'm going to break down all of the important features of the Crocodilian build and the strategies that they use to win games.
Bad news.
Every build has its strengths and weaknesses, so my goal with this video is that it'll be useful as a guide for croc players trying to optimize their gameplay, but also for other players that need help countering the Crocodilians' infamous strategies. This video is meant to apply to both crocodiles and alligators.
Okay, now I understand there's a difference. I'm sorry. The difference doesn't matter to me. All right, that may sound crazy. I know. Someone tried to explain it pretty, in depth in the comments and on a couple other videos regarding these absolute monstrosity. I get it, but it doesn't matter. Does it truly matter that a crocodile and an alligator and a caiman are different? Well, caiman maybe that matters a little more because they're smaller, but alligator and crocodile, bro, I don't think it matters. You don't want to mess with either of them.
Because even though there are a few subtle differences between the builds,
slightly higher bite wouldn't even matter, bro. I'm sorry.
Alright, so first, the Croc's biggest strengths. First and foremost is their bite attack. The Croc's bite is the strongest in the game, able to one-shot most low to mid HP targets, and deal serious damage even to the bulkiest players. One important thing to note is that this bite deals crush-type damage, making it one of the few attacks in the game powerful enough to overwhelm most defenses. Even the high-level armor seen in builds like the Turtle and Armadillo aren't enough to stop it. But as powerful and damaging as the Croc's bite is, Crocodilian players actually aren't optimized for direct damage. In fact, most tank builds can recover from a single bite.
It said got away safely. Pay attention to the back. You see this right here? I wouldn't call this got away safely. I mean, he got away with his life. But it didn't get away safely, bro. All right? That is a massive laceration. I think it probably requires stitches. I would say that it's probably multiple inches deep. Luckily, it doesn't look like it was on some type of like internal organ or even type of crazy vein. So it's gonna live, maybe, right? But that's not safely.
Aren't optimized for direct.
I'd be happy. Oh, got bigger. I'd be happy that I'm kind of getting away. I'm happy. But see, this is why I don't mess with these things. They're
Damage.
OP, for real.
In fact, most tank builds can recover from a single bite without much consequence. The Crocodilian's strategy revolves around being able to bring down large targets, usually ones that have a high enough base HP to survive several powerful attacks. That's why, despite having the strongest bite force in the game, in terms of pure DPS, a croc's bite is surpassed by sharks due to their serrated, blade-like teeth. While a croc definitely could spec.
The fisherman caught the shark and then another what the fuck? What? Where do you get these videos from? All right. Where do you get these videos from?
Passed by shark.
Because, imagine you catch a shark with your fishing rod, and then another gigantic shark comes and tries to eat the other. Guys. Listen, let's go.
Due to their serrated, blade-like teeth. While a croc definitely could spec into this type of tooth, for the relevant matchups, the crocodile's curved conical teeth are more useful. These teeth make the crocodile's grapple much more difficult to break out of, and this is where the crocodile's ability to take down tank builds really shines through, as their infamous grapple combo, the death roll, is one of the most powerful attacks in the game and can tear through the HP of even the bulkiest players. Let's continue with the Croc's other strong points. The most important ones are going to be the two abilities they use to maximize their effectiveness in the water, for both stealth and mobility. First, their rudder-like tail grants them a massive speed boost while swimming. This is what shifts many a matchup in their favor when in combat in the water, as most of the Croc's potential targets easily outmaneuver it on land. And second, their nostrils and eyes being situated on top of their heads grants them a unique ability to remain almost completely hidden underwater while still remaining vigilant of their above-water surroundings, and allows them to keep their stamina topped up by not forcing them to hold their breath. Alright, now let's get into the Croc's weaknesses, and then discuss optimal strategies and counterplay.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they have any. Listen, whatever the weaknesses are, they don't even matter. All right, don't even think you can walk up against a croc and use the croc's weaknesses against them. All right, don't even think that. Don't go into this battle thinking that it's gonna matter. All right, just go in there thinking you're probably gonna get demolished accidentally because You think that you're going to use its weaknesses and win, but you're just going to actually not go home and eat dinner. That's really what that is, bro.
The Croc's biggest weakness is its reliance on water. This isn't that big a weakness, as just about every player needs to visit a watering hole at some point. If your party migrates, you'll most likely need to cross a river at some point in order to find more food. But even if you play as a non-migratory build, you'll likely still need to top up your thirst meter every so often to avoid serious stat debuffs. Still, it is a potential vulnerability. If the water in your preferred server begins to dry up, an occurrence that has become more and more frequent in the Anthropocene meta, this can greatly increase the difficulty of your gameplay by removing your stealth and mobility bonuses. Crocodiles don't respawn in the water, and instead must build and protect their nests on shore. Objective defense is always a tough portion of any player's questline, but doing so in a vulnerable state is even more difficult. Another big weakness is the reliance on the death roll combo to score kills. Even though it's a guaranteed kill if the full combo finishes, executing the entire move requires uninterrupted focus on a single target for a significant period of time. As with most grappler builds, this leaves the user quite vulnerable to attacks from your target's party members. So how can Crocodile players best mitigate this weakness? And how can other players best exploit it? So for Crocodile players, the number one thing you need to prioritize during an attack is dragging your target into deeper water. This accomplishes three things. 1, it separates the target from their party. 2, it puts them into a position where their mobility is reduced because of the negative terrain modifier from water. And 3, it inflicts the drowning status effect, quickly draining the target's stamina and reducing the number of opportunities they have to counterattack.
I can see that.
Of course, this isn't without risk. Dragging a target...
Guys, their weaknesses even sound like strengths, guys. Listen, I get you trying to give me... You're trying to give me these new weaknesses that I've never heard of, apparently, right? But there are none. I'm sorry. These don't matter. Like, they really don't matter. Like, if it's 1v1, I mean, yeah, you can probably run, but I'm pretty sure that the alligator is going to catch you unless you can climb a climb a tree. I think, yeah, bro, climb a tree and never come down.
Requires a lot of stamina, and if your stamina runs out while your target is still struggling to get free, they may escape, or worse, counterattack. You can mitigate this by attacking alongside other Crocodilian mains, as they can help you drag away your target quicker and reduce their chances of escape even further. Of course, this means you'll be splitting the loot, but it's worth it for bigger kills. For you non-Croc mains watching, obviously the absolute best strategy is simply to be large and or strong enough to resist being pulled into the water. If you're the one doing the pulling, the Croc player isn't going to continue their attack for long. But if that's not an option, there are still a few tactics you can try to make your odds more favorable. The first is avoiding deep water. If you need to cross a river or find a spot to drink, you'll be safest if the Croc would need to drag you a great distance to get you somewhere you couldn't stand. Plus, it's a lot more difficult for a Croc to hide in shallow water, so you'll be less vulnerable to surprise attacks. If you're a player with the ability to fly or to climb, you might assume this advice doesn't apply to you, since you can stay out of reach of a Croc attack. However, one thing to keep in mind is that the Croc's rudder tail ability has the secondary effect of granting it a greatly increased attack range while in deep water, as it can launch itself a considerable distance to strike targets above the surface. This is a relatively slow and highly committal option though, so my advice to flying players is that if you need to approach the surface of the water, keep moving, as striking a moving target would require a pretty insane read on the part of the Croc player. It's not impossible though, so don't get greedy. Next, I recommend staying with a tight-knit party that's willing to fight alongside you. As mentioned before, the Croc's death roll combo is vulnerable to being interrupted. So if your teammate is being attacked, you may be able to save them even if your attacks don't do all that much damage. Of course, there may be other Crocs around, so you're taking a risk in doing so, but still, Crocs really can't do much other than flee to deep water if they're being attacked from multiple directions, so coordinated attacks are paramount. This advice also translates for any player trying to loot crocodile nests. This is by no means easy, but since the Croc's nest will be on land, the lack of their mobility bonus will make the Croc less capable of catching you. The best strategy is to continuously bait out attacks, luring the Croc out into the heat. Eventually this will daze the crocodile, allowing you to loot their nest uncontested. If you're a Croc, don't worry though, there are ways to better protect your nest. Making sure there is a patch of shade close to the nest is important to avoid being dazed from the heat exhaustion status effect. Another surprisingly powerful and underutilized strategy is to ally with bird players who also nest in the sand. They can protect your eggs from being looted by the more nimble players, while you can protect their buried eggs from being stomped on by the larger players. Now, one piece of advice I see tossed around is the idea to spec into abilities that would make the crocodile less reliant on water. Things like longer legs, replacing claws with hooves, and so on. These ideas have actually been tried in the past, and have never really caught on. I get a lot of tags on Twitter asking to mention how overpowered terrestrial crocodile builds were. However, I think history shows the opposite. The two main times terrestrial croc builds have surfaced have been during the most chaotic, underdeveloped metas. First, during the Triassic, aka the expansion that followed the most heavy-handed series of nerfs and bans the game had ever seen, and the Paleogene, the expansion that followed the mass ban that removed dinosaurs and pterosaurs from the game. Both of these instances were at a time where the previous top-tier Predator build had been banned, and every faction was taking a shot at trying to control that niche. In the Triassic, builds like Postasuchus were great at terrorizing the Synapsid player base. The top-tier Synapsid, Lystrosaurus, was dominating the meta, so having a good matchup against them meant a free top-tier spot. However, these terrestrial proto-crocodilians quickly lost their top-tier status as the more mobile dinosaurs started competing. And in the Paleogene, almost the exact same thing happened. Galloping crocodilians dominated the early meta, but once the mammal player base started competing for the top-tier predator spot, once again, the croc player base couldn't keep up and was forced back into their traditional aquatic ambush role. So yeah, sorry Cheetah Gator fans, you can try again after the next major balance patch. But for now, there's no shame in sticking to the tried and true game plan Crocs have perfected over the past several balance patches.
Like for them, definitely to remain S tier, they're gonna have to stay like this. Absolutely. Like getting all this new information. Like imagine if a croc had the ability to run on hooves, guys, and like the Cheetah Gator, 75, let's say 70, 75 miles an hour running, and you are a gator. That sounds ridiculous, bro. But I also understand why now they keep going to water. Because water, apparently they have like guys. What did I just do here? Now I understand why they keep going to water at least. I mean, because obviously they have super terrible heat management. They have issues with heat, so to the point where even the sun dazes them. A couple of things could be fixed. I mean, listen. How about this? What if they had the ability to sweat? Give them the ability to sweat, and they dominate the world. And give them hooves. Nothing could maintain.
They're undoubtedly a top-tier predator, and I can't see their placement on the tier list changing anytime soon. Hopefully, this video did a good enough job covering the Crocodilians' optimal strategy and counterplay. Much of the footage featured in this video...
Guys, it did, absolutely. So here's the thing. So when it comes down to the question, I guess, if Crocodilians are OP, I would say that they are. He's kind of saying they are, too. If he's putting them as S tier, then absolutely they are a OP race in a sense, right? I would never want to mess with them. And again, after seeing them in person, alligators at least. Nothing, guys. Trust me, you want nothing to do with them. I understand if you just leave them alone, they won't really bother you, right? But all of the visuals that we just saw here are absolutely terrible. I think that these animals were all leaving it alone, and it then tried to eat them. Okay, so what do you do with that information, people? That say crocodiles and alligators are like bees. Are they really? Are they really like bees when they're not bothering? Well, these other animals are not bothering them, but yet they're, pulling them into the water, into the depths of their rivers, most likely. This is not good, bro. Right? I hope none of you guys ever have to involve yourself in any of these animals, bro. Not these. All right. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Let me know in the comments the next one of these from him that I should be checking out, and I will get into that as soon as I possibly can. All right. And listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.